If your team only talks about safety after a crash, a claim, or a failed inspection, you're managing in the rearview mirror. The strongest fleets measure the behaviors and outcomes that shape risk every day before a bad trend becomes a serious event. That's where KPIs come in. They turn safety and performance from reactive reporting into proactive management. A KPI is a measurable value tied to a business goal. In trucking, it tells you whether the operation is moving towards safer, stronger performance or drifting away from it. Good KPIs matter because they help you prevent accidents, not just document them after the fact. They also surface risky patterns early, like speeding, hard braking, or hours of service issues, while there's still time to intervene. Beyond safety, the right metrics improve fuel efficiency, reduce downtime, and cut avoidable costs that quietly erode margin. And they create accountability across the whole operation, from drivers and dispatch to maintenance and leadership. Let's start with the most visible safety measure. Accidents per million miles gives you a normalized way to compare risk across routes, terminals, and time periods. Near-miss reporting matters too. If near misses go up while crashes stay flat, your team may be spotting hazards earlier, and that's useful information. Driver behavior data tells you even more. Hard braking and rapid acceleration often point to following distance problems, distraction, or rushed driving. Speeding incidents are another critical KPI, especially when you track frequency, severity, and where they happen most often. Hours of service violations show whether planning and driver habits are staying inside legal and safe operating limits. Now move to the equipment side. DOT inspection pass rate tells you how inspection ready your fleet really is. Pair that with out-of-service rate. A rising out-of-service rate is a clear signal that maintenance discipline is slipping or defects aren't being addressed fast enough. Preventive maintenance compliance is one of the most useful leading indicators in the business. If scheduled service gets missed, future risk usually follows. Operational KPIs matter when they connect to safety. On-time delivery only counts as a win if it happens without speeding or hours pressure. Fuel efficiency trends can reveal driver technique, route planning issues, or maintenance problems that also affect safety performance. And idle time is worth watching because excessive idling often points to dispatch friction, route delays, or habits that cost money without improving safety. A weak KPI sounds like this: improve safety. A strong KPI sounds like this: reduce preventable rear-end collisions by 20% over the next 2 quarters. Good KPIs are clear enough that everyone knows exactly what's being measured. They are measurable, actionable, and tied to decisions your team can actually make in coaching, dispatch, maintenance, and planning. They also have to be tracked consistently. If the data source changes every week, the trend won't mean much. The best fleets pull from real sources like telematics, ELDs, dash cams, inspection records, and incident reports, so the KPI reflects what is actually happening on the road. When a metric is clear, credible, and linked to action, people trust it and use it. That's the difference between a number on a dashboard and a KPI that changes behavior. If you want better KPIs, start with your biggest risks. Ask where claims, violations, unsafe behaviors, or costly delays are hurting the operation most. That first step matters because not every number deserves management attention. Examples of safety KPIs you might consider for your dashboard: harsh driving events per 1,000 miles, hours of service compliance rate, pre-trip completion inspection rate, and speeding frequency and severity rate. Then set realistic targets. They should stretch performance, but they still need to reflect route mix, freight type, seasonality, and fleet reality. After that, build a simple dashboard or scorecard so trends are visible to the people who can influence them. Share results regularly with drivers, dispatch, maintenance leaders, and executives. The goal is alignment, not a report that nobody reads. Now comes the part that actually changes performance. Act on the data. That might mean one-on-one coaching, refresher training, route or schedule changes, or preventive maintenance adjustments. If the KPI moves, ask why. If it doesn't move, ask what barrier is still in the system. The 5-step process is simple on purpose. Focus risk, choose a few metrics, set targets, share results, and act fast. That's how KPIs become part of day-to-day operating discipline instead of a quarterly exercise. Keep it tight, keep it visible, keep it useful. When KPIs are used well, drivers get clearer expectations and fairer coaching because feedback is based on patterns, not opinions. They also get recognized for strong performance, which matters just as much as correcting risky behavior. For management, KPIs make trend analysis possible. You can see whether a problem is isolated, seasonal, terminal-specific, or system-wide. That opens the door to root cause correction. Maybe the issue is training. Maybe it's unrealistic dispatch windows. Maybe it's maintenance backlog. Strong leaders also watch for the wrong incentives. If productivity targets quietly push unsafe speed or hours pressure, the KPI system needs work. The point isn't to punish drivers with data. The point is to support better decisions, safer habits, and stronger operations. When people believe the metrics are fair and useful, they engage with them. That's when improvement accelerates. Used the right way, KPIs protect drivers and the business at the same time. That balance is what separates a safety culture from a scorekeeping exercise. And that's exactly where management judgment still matters most. Let's say a fleet starts seeing more rear-end collisions over 2 months. Claims are rising, and managers need to know what's driving the pattern. Instead of jumping straight to discipline, the team chooses one lead indicator to track closely: hard braking events per 1,000 miles. That KPI points them toward following distance, traffic response, and whether schedules are creating pressure in dense delivery windows. They respond with targeted coaching on space management, adjust a few tight schedules, and review the metric every week by terminal. Within 90 days, hard braking events drop, rear-end collisions decline, and the team has evidence that the intervention worked. That's the value of a good KPI. It connects a safety problem to a measurable behavior and a manageable response. You don't need dozens of metrics to get results. You need the right one, tied to the right action, reviewed at the right pace. KPIs help trucking operations become proactive instead of reactive. The smartest programs stay focused on a few meaningful metrics, not a crowded dashboard full of numbers nobody acts on. The data should be used to coach and improve, not to blame. When metrics are chosen well, safety and performance improve together instead of competing with each other. As you look at your own operation, ask which KPI has the biggest impact on safety, what you're not measuring well enough yet, and where your biggest operational risk is sitting right now. KPIs don't improve safety on their own. They matter when they show you where to act, who to coach, and what needs to change across the operation. Are you measuring the safety drivers that actually predict risk, or just the outcomes that show up after the damage is done? And when the data points to a problem, are you using it to coach, adjust, and improve, or just to report what already happened? The goal is simple: turn data into better decisions, better coaching, and safer outcomes on the road. This week, pick one KPI that has the biggest influence on safety in your operation. Then take one specific action, whether that's coaching a driver, fixing a process, or changing how the team responds to the trend. Tell your team what you're tracking and why it matters. Then review your current scorecards and make sure the numbers on them are driving the safety outcomes you actually want. As we close, this training was provided by Aegis General Energy Risk Engineering with one clear goal in mind: helping strengthen safer, more disciplined trucking operations. This material is intended for instructional and informational use only. It is designed to support training, not replace your company's policies or operating requirements. You should always follow company policy, regulatory guidance, and applicable legal requirements. Each organization remains responsible for compliance with the laws and regulations that apply to its operation. Our commitment is to help strengthen your safety culture and improve operational performance where it matters most, in everyday decisions across the fleet. That means supporting safer communities and helping guide organizations toward best-in-class performance through practical, lasting safety improvement. We're proud to partner with organizations through practical solutions, meaningful data, and a shared commitment to safer outcomes on the road and across the business. Thank you for your time, your attention, and your continued commitment to safety. We appreciate the work you do every day to help keep people and operations safe. What gets measured gets managed only if it leads to real change. Safe operations don't happen by accident. They're built, measured, and led on purpose.